Super Rugby Round 9 Saturday games. There were 3 on. The early game from Hamilton, the second game from Dunedin, and the late game, at least late over here, between the Force and the Tars. We'll go over some key events, some stats, the upcoming fixtures, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on how these games went. The first one went pretty much according to the script. Chiefs 45 points to 12 winners over Moana Pasifika. They were always supposed to get a bit of a hiding. Remember Moana Pasifika backing up again with the back-to-back fixtures, 3 games in 2 weeks kind of thing. So the scoreline was largely predicted. Moana Pasifika did hold for ages on defence early, but Jacobson got the first one after Tia had been denied one for a foot and touch. I mean, the pressure was just coming. It was the forwards. Their scrum just blitzed the Moana Pasifika pack, and Jacobson was able to go over. And then Nana Satoro got one on 15 minutes. He beat a couple of defenders. That guy is legit pretty lethal. It was a line-out move from memory, that one. So, yeah, good stuff from the Chiefs. They're sharp, man. The Chiefs are still in this competition, putting their hand up, saying, they might have had a couple of losses, but yeah, they're still one of the top teams for sure. Thankfully, Moana Pasifika did manage to get one back on the blind side on 9-10 minutes to at least, give them something to shout about. So I made it 14-5, so it wasn't all one-way traffic. Va'i, though, straight through the ruck before half-time. Got it to Nankivell for the try on 37 minutes. So Chiefs go into half-time, 24 points to 5 lead. And it virtually doubles. The half-time score is a reflection of how the second half played out as well. I mean, the run meters are 261 to 112 to the Chiefs at halftime. The Chiefs have had 57% possession, 61% territory. They've been pretty dominant. Second half, Inari does get a line break and gets the ball to Solomon Akata, who goes over for the second Moana Pasifika try to make it 12 points to 24. And you're thinking, if Moana Pasifika can get one more, it's properly game on, but no. Just as good as that try was from Moana Pasifika, the Chiefs got one back. That one was Nankivell again. That one was it Nana Satoro who put the little chip through for him? It was proper thing of beauty stuff if you haven't seen it. So, Plus, things get worse for Moana Pasifika. They get a yellow card through a puna for a high tackle. So, yeah, the Chiefs punish them with the extra man. Nana Satoro, some white ball. And then Rehan at the death makes it 40 points plus. So, yeah, a bit of a rout in the end. The Moana Pasifika boys, like I said, scored a try in each half, but it was always going to be tough. They do, though, play the Force next week, which could be a really interesting game because both sides are on a wee bit of a losing run. So that could be a really interesting game. The Chiefs have got the Tars. Chiefs will be big-time favourites, but the Tars had a decent win of their own, so we'll kind of have to wait and see. Final stats finish. Chiefs more possession, more territory, but it does even out compared to the first half. Clean breaks is 7-5 to the Chiefs. Run meters 457 to 394 to the Chiefs. Nana Satoro 138 run meters, 5 clean breaks, 6 defenders beaten. Kata going the other way, 60 run meters, 5 defenders beaten. Not a bad shift, but just too good. That one, as I said, kind of played out as expected. The second game, Highlanders and Hurricanes, the game's a cracker, but the crowd was pretty small. Even the zoo was virtually empty. I know it's Easter. A lot of people have gone away for their holidays, but man, that was a small crowd, eh? Compared to like the one in Christchurch the other night. Yeah, that was smaller than usual, I would imagine. But the people who did attend were treated to an absolutely cracking game. Marty Banks got them underway, the Highlanders, with a nice 3-pointer, but Balin Sullivan, he hit back not long later, and he was looking pretty tidy in that Canes midfield. So 7 points to 3. Unfortunately, Solomona, who was getting his first start, had to go off. He took a knock to the head, so he didn't come back on after about 15 minutes. And Julian Savia was in a mood, wasn't he? He was flattening some people in some runs. He absolutely flattened Scott Gregory at one point. Like, that was the bus of old, like a big old sit down, wasn't it? Really pleasing. But the game turns on its head a wee bit when Dixon gets a red card for shoulder to the head. These days, shoulder to the head tends to be red, and sure enough, and the Hurricanes punished, line out set play. Into the gap goes Rayasi. So, yeah, 2 tries for the Canes. They're up 14-3, but the Highlanders did manage to kick a penalty during the red card to make it 14-6 half-time. Possession's pretty even, but the Canes have got the territory 67-33. They got the clean breaks 3-0. They got the run meters 225-81. But interestingly, the Canes don't seem to be able to maintain that effort in the second half. It kind of reminded me of the Blues Crusaders game from the day before, where it was mostly one team playing the rugby, and that was the Highlanders in the second half. Admittedly, the Canes did get a penalty to extend their lead, but then the Highlanders got a maul try through Makalewa. Man, do they love a maul try now. Like, when you think Tony Brown, you think like some elaborate back line set play, maybe like a fake line-out move where they ended up having kind of dummy runners and all kinds of madness. Nah, it's maul tries. He's going the kind of Stephen Larkham route, isn't he, in terms of his coaching strategy. Mauls. Well, their maul seems to work, man. They get a maul try. It's game on. They miss the conversion, 17-11. Then they get a penalty to make it 17-14, so that's properly game on. Hicks puts in a massive try-saving tackle on Julian Savia. That was proper game-saving stuff. And then on, 67 minutes, Hicks gets the try. So he's having a good kind of 10-minute period. That was Umanga Jensen, I think, batted the ball back in from like a little dinking kick through. Hunt gets the ball, and then the Highlanders are able to go over. That stuff was also proper madness. Like very skill level stuff that you won't often see. 21-17 Highlanders in front, but then Rayasi, maybe the first shot they've fired in that second half, gets the line break and sets up the go-ahead play for Morgan. So, yeah, 22-21. As I said, the first shot they've really fired in ages. I mean, Julian Savia's run, apart from that, there wasn't that much going on in the second half from the Canes, 22-21. At the end of the game, and this will be a controversial one, the Highlanders go 21 phases. Gregory goes down the left wing. He's tearing it up, and then the Highlanders look to have scored. They do go over the line, but they have to check whether there's a double move. The on-field decision is the crucial part, and the on-field decision is no try. The ref says he doesn't have a grounding. And I can't remember what question does he ask. He doesn't question, is there a double movement? He just says, it's no try from me. I haven't seen a grounding. Can you check? And the TMO says, I've got nothing conclusive to overturn. For me, I mean, I don't know that there was anything absolutely clear and conclusive about the TMO footage, so I'm kind of happy to go with the ref's on-field decision. But if you're a Landers fan, you will undoubtedly think that ball, part of it was at least touching where it needed to be touching, but not to be. So it's a 1-point loss. It's a pretty brutal one. The Landers were way better in that second half, but couldn't quite crack it. Run meters finished 400 to 456, the Canes edging it. The Landers finished with more possession, the territory evens out. Clean breaks is 5-2 to the Canes. Defenders beaten is 27-17 to the Canes. So it is that defence which still seems to struggle a wee bit for the Highlanders, They tackle at 81%, which is low. Most of the teams this competition are mid to high 80s, if not 90s. So 81 is low. They make 112 tackles. The Hurricanes make 132 at 89%. Penalties conceded is 11-7, with the Canes conceding more. So yeah, cracking game. Controversial finish. Wish more people had been there to see it. But there you go. Happy Easter, everybody. Enjoy your holidays. Thomas Umanga Jensen, 50 run meters, 2 defenders beaten. Not bad. Rayasi, 144 run meters, 3 clean breaks, 6 defenders beaten. He was better than he was in the previous game against Moana, Pasifika, interestingly enough. So there you go. And then the one from Australia, the Force and the Waratahs. I should have mentioned, sorry for this one. The Highlanders play the Brumbies next. The Hurricanes have got the Reds. So those could be pretty tidy games, actually. The final one, like I mentioned, Force and Waratahs. If the Force are going to give away like 24 points in the first 15 minutes in games, they're not going to win many. They actually come back into this game, believe it or not. But it's too late after you've conceded 24 points. The Waratahs scrum monsters them early, which is not a good look. And then Nawani gets an intercept to make it 10-0. Edmed's into all kinds of space for Foketi. It's 17-0. And then Hooper with a pick and go. There's nobody there. 24-0 after 15 minutes. That's about as bad as a start as you can have without having a red card. I mean, as I said, the Force do get back into the game. Pasitoa gets a try from a play that Mataele had helped set up to at least get them 7 points on the board. They had a huge period of pressure at the end of the first half, but do you think they could score? No. The Force have got more possession, more territory at the end of that first half by a decent amount, but the Tars defence is just holding on. They do score the start of the second half as well through Anstey to at least make it 12 points to 24. You're wondering, is the comeback on? But it's not, because then the Tars score. It's a maul try. That one's Parecki. Then there's a maul try for the Force. That one's Reedy, so it's kind of tit for tat. But you can't play tit for tat when you've conceded 24 unanswered points to start the game. So, and Pasifika got a yellow card as well for slowing the ball down at the breakdown, and the Tars punished them with a wide one. Newsom ends up getting 2 tries within a couple of minutes. It's pretty crazy stuff. The offloads and the gas. I mean, that was Vosiatho helped set up the second Newsom 1A. He's got wheels for a loose. Remember, the Sunwolves tried him in the forwards and in the back line. He's that genuinely pacey forward. I mean, Tars did get a yellow card at the end of the game, and then another one through Foketi. So it was 15v13 at the end, and the Force did get a consolation one through Pasifika. But as I said, it's kind of too little too late by that point. So, I mean, if you take even part of that 24 points off from the start, this is a competitive game. But if you can see 24 points, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. You're not going to win many games. So, yeah, the crowd will be pretty disappointed. The fans who stayed, at least you got to see your team fight back a wee bit. But, horrendous start, man. I mean, from a Tars point of view, fantastic start. You guys were ruthless. So, there you go. Run meters 426 to 313 to the Force. Possession 62-38. Territory 67-33 to the Force. Tackles, the Tars had to make 191 to 74. So it tells you a lot, man. But yeah, the Tars just had that ruthless edge. So Mataele, 79 run meters, a clean break, 2 defenders beaten. Hooper on his return gets that try. 18 from 19 tackles, not a bad shift. Force against Moana Pasifika. That's going to be a big game for both teams. Could be a potential turning point for whichever one can get the win. And the Waratahs have got the Chiefs, which from what we've seen, the Chiefs aren't going to gift you 24 points at the start. So that could be a pretty tidy one. But we will see. You guys let me know your thoughts on the games. They were pretty interesting. The first 2 scorelines blow out a bit, and the second one was a proper nail biter. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.